Nipsey Hussle's brother just did an interview with Big Boy where he exposed a lot of information that a lot of people didn't know about Nipsey Hussle's death. And now there are new rumors coming out about who may have actually killed Nipsey or set him up. So the guy who actually pulled the trigger, his name is Eric Holder. Now, he was recently convicted of the murder of Nipsey. But from day one, people never felt like the story of why Eric Holder took his life and how the entire thing happened never made sense.
Right.
Because the original story that we got was Eric went over to Marathon. He was a snitch in the neighborhood, tried to shake hands with Nipsey in the store, met him at the store. Nipsey was like, nah, nigga, you gotta get your paperwork right, or, you gotta see about that before I, embrace you or whatever. Eric leaves. And again, this is off the top of my head. I didn't go reread the story, but this is the general idea of what happened. He leaves, comes back with a red shirt, I believe. That's when he walks up on Nipsey, shoots him, and the rest is kind of history. Now, the thing is while that kind of makes sense, this dude that just gotten out of jail doesn't seem like the kind of, I don't know why Nipsey Hussle turning down a handshake would make you that angry for you to, come take his life, knowing that there's cameras here, knowing there's other people here, knowing that this is a major rapper. There's a lot of things that's got to go through your head for you to make this make sense.
Right.
So maybe that's just what happened, but according to Blacc Sam, he doesn't believe that that's what happened, and it actually ties into what another prominent individual from the West Coast said, Wack 100, and basically he put it on Big U, which is a well-known Crip who's been accused of running protection in LA. And now we are seeing Blacc Sam talk about it, but he didn't drop no names, but he dropped enough information to make this story, and the story Wack 100 was saying earlier, make a lot more sense.
This is crazy.
Was like Nip seen somebody, Eric, and talked, and
he already got convicted. So for me, without going into too many details, somebody come to the shop. They know we in the doorway. When Hustle pull up, we in the doorway. You gonna see me with a hoodie on, and I got a pistol on me. You gonna see one of the team members in the hoodie in the doorway with a pistol. That's protocol when Hustle pull up. So it's Sunday. It's busy in there. Why the niggas in there didn't follow the protocol? I wasn't there. Why they didn't follow it? Maybe they was fucking around helping the customer, doing some customer service. This is what I'm thinking, trying to, transition into some legitimate, just selling clothes. But nobody was in the doorway. And from my understanding, old boy walked up with no shirt on first to check the scene, because he know what's going on in that parking lot. And had a conversation. Probably seen nobody was in the doorways. Checked Hustle had on shorts. Checked everybody else. Left. They say came back with a red shirt on. Tiptoed through the alley and went right and started shooting. So to me, that's premeditated. Number one, there's no red shirts in the hood. You can't buy no red shirt. No liquor store sell no red shirt. Number two, when a nigga come through the alley with a red shirt, that's the throw off, or the Bloods did it, or the Inglewood families did it, or the BPS, that's the throw off, red shirt. So for me, he felt he was supposed to do a job, or somebody sent him or whatever, and he was nervous. He was supposed to hit that alley with that red shirt immediately, but he didn't do that. He came in and he wanted to check the scene. He wanted to make sure he wasn't getting into a shoot. And that's my thoughts on it. You understand? So, and can't nobody tell me nothing about that, because
now also in another point in the interview, so a lot of people don't understand, why would someone want to hurt Nipsey, right? So underlying theory that is being talked about is Blacc Sam kind of alludes to it in this interview, is that, remember, Nipsey had just shot that big video with DJ Khaled and John Legend. This was gonna be like Nipsey's biggest song. DJ Khaled was like putting all his energy behind uplifting this big record. Probably gonna be Nipsey's biggest record of all time. Nipsey had just shot a video. Blacc Sam talked about in this interview. He was really happy. They brought Khaled to the hood and basically applied pressure in a way that said, ain't nobody touching Khaled, ain't nothing happening. We moving like this. And a lot of people seem like they didn't necessarily like the fact that Khaled was in the hood and wasn't necessarily coming to come pay respects to them as well. So it's other niggas that do the same thing or have the same type of power. They want to check in, they want to hang, they want to be with the cool guys. And now with this type of movement and you being able to secure Khaled moving in and out of the city, applying that type of pressure, doing that type of play, you might be the king of the city. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can run it like that. So, and there were talks later on that night. Like, apparently it was enough where him, Blacc Sam, Nipsey, and like their other brothers, you know, sat down and were like discussing this. Like, this was a thing. So he talked about it as well. So he was also saying, well, yeah, it was enough bad energy in the city for something to happen. Now, this is where it gets crazy. Before this came out, way before this, Wack 100 came out, Big West Coast Blood came out and basically said that, came out with this guy named Luce Cannon. Now, Luce Cannon was a homeboy of Nipsey and also a homeboy of Big U. Big U is, like I said, another figurehead in the city. He says that while the day Nipsey died, Big U called him and said, hey, something just happened to Nipsey, like basically telling him about Nipsey getting killed. Luce Cannon immediately hangs up, called Nipsey, and Nipsey's alive.
What?
Nipsey's alive. So he's like, what the fuck? He's confused. Now, Nipsey was like, well, why you ain't warn him if you just got a phone call that somebody had hit him and now he's alive? You probably should tell him that, you know. But I guess in his mind, he was just like, well, something went wrong. He didn't think about it too much and got off the phone. I guess he said like a few minutes later or like an hour later, he gets a phone call, Nipsey Hussle is dead. So that is another reason why this is coming together. But this is Wack 100 and Adam 22 talking about what happened. So this is Adam 22 and Wack 100 talking about it. The fact that they brought this up before Blacc Sam even said anything that even made sense, because a lot of people thought the case was over because the guy's being convicted and never snitched on anybody else.
Seems like a pretty stand-up guy.
No, yeah, I wouldn't take nothing from me. You know, I'm gonna be real. What I do know, because Big U used to always tell me he didn't like Blacc Sam, couldn't stand Blacc Sam, right? But he would go down there with him and try to play chess with him to get close to him, get up under him, to try to curb his thoughts, to, you know, for Nip, because Blacc Sam was totally against a lot of this shit. You know, he was telling his brother, like, yo, I don't trust, this ain't that, this ain't this ain't that. I remember him trying to tell me, yo, man, I never seen Blacc Sam with a female before. I think he gay. So I asked somebody else from 6-0, one of the reputables I know. He said, Wack, Blacc Sam got a family, woman, all that. He just don't expose him to, you know, social media and shit like that, right? So, you know, I stopped hearing that. But this dude, Big U, right now, I keep telling everybody, dumb as a box of rocks. If you listen to him long enough, he's going to contradict himself and tell on himself. At one time, he had the popularity vote. Now people are starting to see, like, hold on. Right? You see him try to go say, what do you mean? This is me and DJ Khaled before Nipsey died.
He posted the picture.
That's 2020, dummy. He forgot. We looking at the date. Like, it's like everything he does, and that's what I used to do for him. I used to troubleshoot and think for him and help clean up situations. He ain't got nobody like that around him no more.
So he posted up.
So I don't know what to think. Yes, this all sounds crazy, but also it sounded crazy when people said that Diddy paid for Tupac to be killed. And now it seems like that's exactly what the fuck happened.
Exactly what
Allegedly.
happened.
But like, not to say that is what happened, but from what the fuck it looked like that's what the fuck happened. So, and we don't know anything about Biggie, but for fuck sure, the guy who was in the car when they shot Tupac said that Diddy was paying him for the hit. So you may not believe him, but that's what he's saying. And he was the guy that was in the car. So I don't know who else to believe at this point. And again, even that situation started off from like small things. Yeah. This guy gets Tupac beats up this gang leader's nephew. Now this gang leader is mad. He's friends with Puffy. Puffy was like, well, if you're gonna do it, I give you this X amount of money. Something along those lines. So it's like, first of all, it's never for a good reason. reason. It never seems like it makes sense. And from what I've covered, especially in true crime, reality is usually stranger than fiction. And so this would not be a stretch. Now, the only thing that I think is crazy throughout this entire situation is why, if this is the case, would Eric Holder take the entire fall? Like, I'm pretty sure he could have gotten less time. And you going into a California, and I don't know if he's in California, but if you go into any prison, but a California West Coast prison, because I know he's already gotten touched and beat up and stuff, he probably in PC, is going to be hell for you. It can't be no worse. And so I don't know why you wouldn't snitch. And also, if you already have the reputation of being a snitch on top of Nipsey, like, I would be telling on that. At this point, I gotta tell, because whatever you was gonna get paid, whatever was supposed to happen when you going to jail didn't happen. It ain't happen.
But
So,
you know, some people like that clout, you know, make them feel big.
but I don't think that that's the kind of clout that's worth walking around with. If you're gonna spend, maybe if you're gonna be outside of jail, but if you're gonna be in jail, that seems like a terrible idea. So I don't know exactly what happened, and maybe Eric Holder, I mean, hell, he's still alive. Maybe he will come out and say something. And I would be surprised if the police did not investigate this thoroughly. But also, again, I mean, we got new technology. It should be a lot easier, you know what I'm saying? Things like of that nature. But I just don't see Eric Holder being like, if he was the type of wild guy that would just walk up and shoot Nipsey, I don't see him not taking accountability for it if he don't have to. Like I said, as this story evolves and more information comes out, we'll see what happens. But I don't think this is gonna be like Tupac. I do believe that if there is someone who has something else to do with Nipsey's death in this day and age, I don't think it's gonna take us decades to get there. I think it'll happen a lot faster. It may take us a couple of years, but what I've seen is time starts to loosen the thread on the truth. You know what I'm saying? That shit gonna come out. So we'll see how it plays out over time.